So a while back, I don't know, a few months ago, probably by now, by the time I'm getting around to posting this video, we bought this is a Hyco 5-foot brush hog. Of course it's used, and of course it has its own set of problems. However, it was like, I think we paid around $250, $265, something like that for this thing. And we went 70 miles one way to buy this brush hog. It was quite a day just getting this, and of course we brought back a bunch of other attachments. But anyways, you can see we've got holes forming. One couple there. There's one over in there, another here. And you can see pretty much all along the edge of where these cross pieces go. And I am putting in some bed frame. You can see, yeah, there's some good sized holes in there. It's weird, water must sit in here. That's my guess for why this all rotted out. So I've been cutting some bed frame, and I think I'm going to weld this thing up today, hopefully. We're getting started pretty late in the day, but it says, I don't know if you guys can make this out. It says, you can see, make out an H here, H-I, and then a C-O. So this is a Hyco 5-foot brush hog, and even the skid plates, the skid shoes here, you can see how thick this is. We are getting down very, very paper thin right in here. So I might weld another piece of steel onto there also. And you can see there's little holes and stuff here and there, but this brush hog, it's a used brush hog. It's been, the sides are bent. This is pushed in here and this is pulled out there, and we got a big cut up in here. I guess one of the blades hit the deck somehow. And this whole side's all pushed in, and so is that one, but I'll get this thing all straightened out and make it look pretty again. So this is what she looks like in the before, and I'm just putting some bed frame in along the inside here. These inside edges going to run the whole way across. Same thing up here and right in front. I have to cut out a little spot there of the deck. That needs cut out, and then I'm going to take a strip the whole way up on each side on the outside here and cut that out and weld in a new piece. I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, why don't you just go get a new brush hog? Well, we went 70 miles one way to find this one, so they're kind of, I don't want to say they're few and far between, but it's not as easy to find these things as you guys would think. So I figured, we'll just fix up this one. And there's another little crack right on the edge here that needs welded. And I think I'm going to weld where the gearbox goes the entire way. They only did a weld. It's fully welded on the side here, and then one little weld in the middle. So I'm just going to weld this fully. This I think it's this back one. Or no, they did two welds, one up here and one right here. But this back one here has broken, and I just want to, it should be welded solid. So that's what I'm going to do, and it's going to take me quite a bit of time to do this. But I'm just putting the bed frame in here. I got all these pieces cut in here. Just have to put them in. So I guess the next step is I think I'm going to cut out the deck next. Cut this piece, cut along both sides, and then cut up this corner here. And this isn't going to entirely fix this thing. I'm doing, kind of just a patch job here and there, trying to do the best that I can. And hey, I guess it is what it is, right? It's an old used brush hog, but I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and this one came from Craigslist. I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and the brush hogs on there, they're kind of few and far between, and the ones that you do find, they are horribly expensive. I found one, it was a pretty new 5-foot or 5 or 6 foot brush hog, complete and everything, for was like $1,750. I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, that's just way too expensive. So for the little bit of time and whatnot that I have in this thing, it's a good start for us. And I'd also like to fully weld this back corner in here. And then they did stitch welding. And really, if you want something to last and hold up, you got to do fully welded.
Here I'm just cutting out this back piece from where the blade came up and made about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inch cut in the deck. And unbeknownst to me, this thing was welded from underneath. So I kind of had a difficult time getting rid of this piece of steel. Part of me thinks I should have just welded it back together, but then it's not as good as what this big hole that I cut in. So now I'm cutting up the front piece here. This piece was pretty rusted, and I end up cutting that front piece longer and going the whole way across. I figured I would use a chalk line to try to get a nice straight line for these pieces here. I decided not to go the entire way because the deck further back on this thing wasn't that bad, and it really didn't even need cut out. But each of these long pieces, they are 45 inches long, and I figured out, so let's call it an even 4 feet, just because for easy math. So there was 2 of these, so 45 or 48 and 48, so that's 8 feet just for me to replace this one piece. 8 feet of weld. And on the second piece, that's another 8 feet. So pretty much there was about 16 feet of weld in just those 2 pieces. And I think on this entire thing, there's like 30, maybe 40, or even 50 feet of weld that I've welded on this thing. I really underestimated how much welding I had to do on this thing. But hey, I guess it is what it is, right?
So I got all the pieces cut yesterday, and they fit semi-good. Good enough as I'll get them for now. And from yesterday to today, all that happened. So we have a whole bunch of, well, not a whole bunch of snow, but a nuisance snow is what I'll call it. So there's 10 pieces I need to weld onto this brush hog, and I just have some grinding and stuff to do and a little bit fine tuning with the fitment, and pretty much we're ready. We're getting closer and closer to ready to be welding on this brush hog. So yeah, the snow's a little bit of a bummer, but hey, it's the day after Easter, and we're still getting snow. On a positive note, there's no bugs out here, so that's always a good thing. So I guess I'll do some grinding, clean up where the welds and stuff are gonna go, and pretty much weld this thing. I don't really think there's anything else I need to do other than just, figure out, make sure the fitment and stuff is good, and then go from there. So now it's time to fire up the good old 90 amp flux core wire welder from my favorite store, Harbor Freight. And it turns on like it usually does. So since I'm welding some thin steel, I'm going to put this thing on minimum. And I'm just going to get this piece here tacked up. And I think I'm going to try to roll this edge, the back edge right here, up, so I can weld on the top of this piece, because there's not much left of the bottom one.
The deck on this brush hog it's only about a 1/16 of an inch thick, and that's quite thin for a brush hog. I'm kind of surprised how thin this is, unless a lot of it has rusted away. And oh, here I had to put the brush hog on some cinder blocks on the back. You know, it's supported fine, but I had to do that so I could bend the bottom of the deck up with the floor jack and then get everything tacked together. And on this whenever I'm doing this much welding, I really have to move around with the welder on, you know, different parts of each piece that I'm putting together, so that this steel doesn't twist. Not really a twist, but it expands and contracts so that it'll actually break. I had a couple tack welds break on this, and I'm just trying to clamp down the back of the deck here. They didn't fully weld much on this deck, and that's what I'm going to do on this because I want this thing to last. And post down in the comments below, I bought some truck bed liner, and I'm thinking about using the truck bed liner to put on the bottom of this deck to stop the rusting. And let me know what you guys think about that. I think that'll be a true test of the truck bed liner. My brother and I went to Harbor Freight and got it, so whatever their brand is, and I think we were able to use a 20% off on it, which was pretty nice. You know, that does help out a lot from here and there with the things that I do around here.
So this is why you fully weld things. So I knew this front piece was in pretty bad shape. Hopefully you can see. See all the holes in it? It's better. I'm glad I just cut that piece out of there. But see, this is why you fully weld things. All this grass, this is all grass, gets up in underneath here, and then it starts to rust and water sits in here. So I'm going to grind that all smooth again, and I'm going to try at some point to flip this whole brush hog over upside down and fully weld the bottom too, so that, you know, water and stuff doesn't lay in here. And see, the problem is that stuff stays, it gets in there and it collects in there, and then it stays in there, and then water sits, and then you get rusting. So this piece here is, it's plenty thick, but you gotta fully weld things, which is probably what I'm gonna do for all of this. Fully weld everything, and same thing in the gearbox there. So I'm gonna continue cutting or grinding that stuff clean, and then I will have to cut another piece here to fit that, because the piece I had there, I didn't think I was gonna go through as far as what I wanted to, but hey, it's done now, and I'm glad I did it.
I think this will be pretty much it for part 1. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And hopefully I'll see you on part 2 whenever I get done editing it and filming it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.